Hello and welcome to the big fight. Now, I've done lots of big fights, but rarely has there been one which has been preceded by a big fight the way it has happened before this one. Because yes, the Twitter wars have been raging, and the Twitter wars have raged even more ever since I announced we're doing a special big fight on the Twitter wars. So yes, it's been a rather exciting couple of days. And we are going to be taking a look at the Twitter wars that have just happened, whether Twitter and Facebook are going to play a major role in the politics of the next year leading up to the general election, and a whole lot more besides. It gives me great pleasure to welcome some of the most active participants there on Twitter. Let me start off by welcoming, joining us from Mumbai, Sanjay Jha, who in a sense kicked off the Twitter wars in some earnest this week with the hashtag Feku, and then that sort of took on dimensions of its own. Preeti Gandhi, it's a great pleasure to have you with us right here. I'm wondering whether I should give each of your Twitter handles as well. Mrs. Gandhi. It's in a sense strange that you're a strong BJP supporter with the handle Mrs. Gandhi.
Wow, yeah. The nationalist Gandhi.
You're the nationalist Gandhi. Okay, fine. Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's from the Congress party, another person very active in the Twitter wars. Your handle is Priyanka C19, right? Yes. Kiran, it's great pleasure to have you with us. Kiran KS, we've been tweeting at great length for years and years and years. It's really fantastic to have you here in the studio joining us. It's always been a pleasure to exchange words with you, and it's great that you could join us. Seema Goswami, senior journalist, also very active on Twitter, at Seema Goswami. Anand Ranganathan, columnist, newslaundry.com. You also active on Twitter?
Kind of. Not as
much as the others, but you had lots to say about what's happening on
yes.
Twitter. And others are joining us. Shiv Singh joining us from Pune as well. Shiv, great to have you with us. And a pretty large audience right out here. Let me start by some snap polling before we start. How many of you are actually active on Twitter? Raise your hands. Okay, lots of you. Let me get a sense of the political affiliation of this group. How many of you are BJP supporters? Wow. Okay. How many of you are Congress supporters?
Oops.
Okay, fine. So we now get a sense, I think it's about 70-30 in favor of the BJP. How many of you want Narendra Modi to be Prime Minister?
There.
Even this hand goes up.
All right, no one's going to say it's a paid audience. At least no one's going to say it's a paid audience. Okay, now, can we just get some basic rules for this show? Let's try and do it one at a time. Let's try and do no comments longer than 30 seconds, and I'm going to try and give everybody equal time and space. But Sanjay, I'm going to kick off with you because you really started it off. Is this a concerted campaign that started this week from the Congress party to really get into Twitter, an area which you have deserted for a while, or you haven't at least thought was significant?
Vikram, to be honest, we have won many battles before. But after the kind of orchestrated campaign that was done against Rahul Gandhi when he was speaking at CII, which I thought was a phenomenal speech, but the way it was ridiculed, I think it really disappointed a lot of the Congress supporters, not just offline but online as well. And we decided, yes, we did ensure that the Feku campaign would gather momentum. Nobody expected it to be the kind of tsunami that finally it eventually became. It overwhelmed the entire debate that Mr. Modi was trying to propagate at the Women's Conference. And Vikram, honestly, while I may be a very visible face of the Twitter campaign that the Congress unleashed, officially, unofficially, whichever way you want to look at it, there are many unsung faces, names like Rachit Seth, Sumit Jha, Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's there in your studio, R.K. Mishra. I can go on and on about them. But I think what this established, Vikram, very clearly, that it's not the size of the dog in the fight that matters, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And although we are outnumbered by BJP supporters, we don't have paid people, we are all volunteers. I think we proved that in terms of pure spontaneity, the Congress was unbeatable on that given day. And we promised to be a big formidable force going into the future.
Okay.
About the volunteer part, I would like to say that, this is not a volunteered campaign by the Congress or the UPA, however you want to put it up, that this is the 100 crore social media expense that they want to take up now. It's a known fact with everybody. Media has reported it. So it is definitely not a volunteered campaign.
No, that was
You
just
know?
a part
Okay,
of
but can I just ask you that till now the BJP's really had a run of social media.
No, and about
Is that
Faku,
changing?
I want to come back even about Faku. Faku, within 2 hours of it trending worldwide, yes, it was a worldwide trend, I'll accept it. But within 2 hours of it trending worldwide, the tables turned,
sabotaged
and
it.
57% of the tweets about Faku were in favor of Narendra Modi against Rahul Gandhi. So
that
Rahul
was a
Gandhi
very
became the Faku eventually.
synchronized
Okay,
fight back
Priyanka,
from
you know?
the BJP.
next.
That was a very synchronized fight back from the BJP. Now, all I'd like
Thank
to
you.
say, no, most of the time, if I would speak about myself personally and what I've seen with other volunteers who've spoken up, is that as soon as you send out a tweet which may be against the party ideology, the opposition ideology, or a particular person, you're attacked from all angles, from every corner. And it gets so abusive. I wouldn't even want to tell you, or I mean, there are many people who are active Twitter users here, would know which side usually it comes from, which voices are most shriller, as soon as you tweet out something which it could be against their party line. So I wouldn't even want to mention that. Let me just complete. So what I would like to say
Vikram,
is
can I
now
add
that
something here?
we are kind of
One at a time.
yeah. So basically, this is what happens. Our voices usually used to get drowned, and Faku kind of it was a kind of a fight back for us, where we were totally disgruntled with the way Rahul's speech was ridiculed on Twitter. So most of the volunteers came online. They and across party lines, Faku managed to trend worldwide.
Okay, Kiran's turn next.
Okay. Basically, I don't want to get into
Vikram?
I don't want to get started with a negative turn. I want to give a 30-second background of where we are coming from. In 20th century, Mahatma Gandhi had his own papers, Young India, Harijan and everything, right? That made a huge difference, as a lot of young people sitting here. 21st century has social media, Facebook and Twitter and so on, YouTube, they make a lot of impact. And what they're doing in the last 4 years, I'm very active on Twitter, what they're doing is that they are exposing the emperor with no clothes. You know, we have all studied who is the emperor with no clothes. And in Indian perspective, my view is this whole Congress, the dynasty and the propaganda is emperor with no clothes. And that is what is being exposed by Twitter and Facebook day in and day out. And I think it has pushed them to an extent where they are now indulging in negative campaign, which doesn't help. That's my view.
Okay, Seema, I'm going to get everyone's opening comments and then we'll start discussing the various issues being raised.
You know, Vikram, I think, of course, there are people who really believe in the BJP ideology and they tweet because they believe in it. There are people who really believe in the Congress ideology and, of course, they tweet in favor of it. Are there paid tweeters in the BJP camp? Yes, there are. Are there paid tweeters in the Congress camp? Yes, they are. It's just a question of which one is more successful on that day. But as far as I'm concerned, both parties do run concerted campaigns, and if you do follow Twitter feeds, it's very easy to see which are the people who are not being paid and which are the people who are part of the control room. It's very easy.